So how would Arodihs fare against someone like Saitama? Let's find out. So Sano is the main lead of my series, Apple Black. You can read the first 6 chapters of Apple Black free. I'll leave links to everything you could possibly need in the description. A long story, extremely short. Sano's supposed to be this Trinity character where he's blessed by a certain god within the series, the god of Sorcery. Apple Black is supposed to be a nuanced shonen title where the main characters are sorcerers. And Sano is a sorcerer that's prophesized to prevent a very deadly, catastrophic event, but at the same time he's struggling from the demise of his father. And Sano feels like, rather than going the usual route of revenge, if he can follow the path of forgiveness, so solving the mystery behind his father's demise and finding the culprits and forgiving them, he'll be able to find closure to move on to live up to his potential. There's way more to it than that. I hope you guys read it. For those who are new to this channel, Sano's also a very observant, kind, diligent, and strong-willed young man, but due to isolation growing up, he's very socially awkward. So awkward that he can be shy talking to girls, and in fact, the fact that he can get so flustered talking to girls now that he's out and about in the world, he actually thinks it's sorcery that is being like spells being cast on him. He's a great judge of character, he's directionally challenged, and sometimes he lies unnecessarily. Warm heart, can be goofy, but can also be serious when needed. So Sano's said to be this Trinity, right? And he has this arm, and there's a certain mode in the series where the arm can take over his whole body, and it's kind of like you can think of it as like a god mode. And the arm is called the Arodihs arm, and it's supposed to be the left arm of Merlin, the god of sorcery. And so there's a point where it takes over his whole body, and he's like super strong. It's not even him anymore. It's like a completely new, different personality, and that's why I'm calling it Arodihs Sano. And then there's certain aspects of Arodihs that make that particularly unique. You can think of Arodihs as the sentient AI that's programmed into the Arodihs arm to once in a while guide Sano. And Volume 3 of Apple Black will explain some of this. So Volume 1 and 2 of Apple Black are actually released. Again, you can check those stuff. All the links you could possibly need will be in the description. Look guys, obviously we know about Saitama already. This video is not necessarily to have a debate on who would win. This is just me being a fan of the series, being a fan of One Punch Man, and wanting to create content that I think is fun, to offer a kind of fan art crossover reward that I've never done before as a reward in one of the tiers of the Kickstarter. By the way, please check out our Kickstarter. It has a lot of cool and rare rewards. Every backer is going to get issue 95 of Saturday AM, which includes a preview to the beginning of Volume 3 of Apple Black, rare commissions, things about promoting your work or whatever you want to promote on social media for a whole year, and even promotion on this YouTube channel. One-on-one editorial assistance from me and the Saturday AM staff helping you craft your work. A superior version of Apple Black Volume 1. Just go check out the Kickstarter and you get all the details, and it's really, really cool, and I'll go into more details there. So please check that out. Well, this illustration is just something we thought would be different, and we're offering it as an exclusive print, 12 by 18, as a reward in the Kickstarter. So it's not me comparing or thinking that I'm a huge One Punch Man fan. I'm looking forward to One Punch Man Season 2. I believe it's coming out next year in April. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even though I've actually read ahead in the manga. I'm a huge Yusuke Murata fan. I think his artwork is stellar, whether it be on One Punch Man or Ice Shield 21. This is basically just fantasy booking. It's always fun to do stuff like this and speculate, but just not taking it too seriously. At the end of the day, we don't know everything about Saitama, so it's not like I'm looking for an answer. I'm just drawing for fun. And it allows me hint at how strong I imagine Arodihs is. Now, it's not going to be something where Arodihs in the series is just going to destroy every character that Arodihs comes across, but it's more so to just highlight how strong I imagine he's going to be, because there will be characters that are really, really strong too, so it's not going to be a walk in the park whenever Arodihs arrives, and I'm not going to write myself into a corner. So let's briefly talk about, the differences, the slight differences between Arodihs and Sano when it comes to the powers. Again, I don't want to give too much away because I want most of this to be experienced while reading the actual book, and I feel like I'm already giving a little bit away. But it's all fun here. We're all having fun here. So with regular Sano, his base power is teleportation. If I were going to compare the teleportation to any other series that I could think of off the top of my head, you can think of Jumper, how teleportation works in Jumper, and blend that with characters like Nataru from Birdie the Mighty, jumping through space and time. And then maybe there'll be like certain elements where you can connect it to, say, the likes of a Nightcrawler from X-Men. So while teleporting is the base power, I still want that sense of growth where you see Sano grow in how he learns to teleport in more creative ways and he gets better at it. But at this stage, it's similar to like a Nightcrawler where, say, he can only teleport to places he can see, and if he tries to do, if he tries to stray away from that, he could like teleport into like a volcano and mess himself pretty bad. There's also a pattern to how Sano can jump, and there can be a certain predictability aspect if you know how to read his patterns. Impulse is the power source in this world. It's kind of like the chakra, the chi, the ki, the nen, that kind of stuff. And so he can't like continuously teleport forever. There's a limit to it. Can't really teleport well if he runs out of impulse, and he'll need to like rest to regain some of that. You can also regain that with orbs, but again, that's a different conversation because you don't know what orbs are, and he doesn't actually wear orbs. He jumps around pretty quickly, but after every second jump, there's like a 3-second interval where he can't jump during that period, so he might choose to dodge a physical attack rather than teleport because he literally can't. So Sano has to be tactical in some cases to not be predictable, so you can't really read his movements as easily. So he might choose to dodge an attack even though maybe at that moment he could have teleported. I can get like really creative with it. And beyond that, Sano can conjure very white, fiery balls of flames, balls of impulse, and attack people with it. In the series, I've shown Holy Ghost Ripple, and I've also shown Holy Ghost Echo, and there'll be other things. Him saying those names are kind of like incantations of casting a spell. There's another Holy Ghost something that I want to reveal within the series that I think is like really, really cool, and I'll just allow that specifically to be experienced in the books. And there will be more after that. But for Arodihs, when Arodihs fully takes over Sano's body, it's no longer Sano. It's like a completely new character. And Arodihs is pretty freaking OP. But I'm very careful not to write myself into a corner. Trust me. Arodihs can obviously do the same thing Sano can at like over 9,000 levels type stuff. Arodihs just needs to make sure that it doesn't overwork Sano's body, because then it could be fatal. Arodihs' physical strength is like, One Punch Man levels. That's why I did, one of the reasons why I chose to use like Saitama for this illustration. But Arodihs, to a degree, does not need to rely on physical strength. Apart from being able to teleport with a couple things that Arodihs is in contact with, Arodihs is extremely fast beyond just teleportation itself, like really fast physically. So imagine someone maybe punching you so fast you don't even see the punch, but it's less about the physical aspect of the punch and more about that touch. Let's say it punches your shoulder and Arodihs just teleports away that whole part of your shoulder, or touches your body in such a way where you can teleport your heart that's inside your body outside of your body. So during the contact of the punch, it can teleport away parts of your body just with that touch alone. And the touch itself is so fast. So in some cases, it's not even about the punch itself and the strength behind the punch, it's just the touch. Same goes for a kick, same goes for, it might not even be a punch at all, it might be a literal touch. The teleportation also gets like a super upgrade where it can teleport anywhere Arodihs wants, because its being is almost one with the world, and the whole universe is this all-knowing, but it can't overdo things because it's still using Sano's body. And it'll kind of coat Sano's body all together, where Sano is just covered in all black, similar to like the symbiote with Venom, but obviously not, where this one is kind of like just coating everything. The black coating over his skin is impenetrable, and there's like all these cool lights and the white hair, so it also has this really cool look. In a previous video, we went over transformations in series and how you guys can come up with cool transformations as well, so I highly recommend you guys check out that video too. But without going into more detail, the teleportation works way better with more abilities. So Arodihs has more access to things that maybe Sano has access to those things as well, but he's just not learned how to control them fully. So rather than controlling Arodihs is the one in the driver's seat. And then slowly in the series, we'll have Sano learn, and just keep learning. Like Arodihs will be so strong, it'll be ridiculous. But I always make sure that I'm careful when writing OP characters, because the trouble is you run the risk of having people not care anymore if they just think that the character is going to win. So it's written in such a way where I'm not writing myself into a corner because I have this OP character. And then there are also some key mysteries behind Arodihs that I don't want revealed in this video, that really set it apart from everything else. For instance, skip ahead if you don't want to hear this spoiler. Teleportation can actually lend itself to time travel, but again, I'm not writing myself into a hole. There'll be certain rules in place when it comes to using time travel that don't allow the character use it all the time, and it will take a huge toll on the character in certain ways that they could potentially die. Or if Arodihs does it, where Sano's body could take a huge hit and edge closer to death. But yeah, it's fun writing this stuff, and I hope you guys enjoy it when it's out. And if you're interested in getting a print like this, you can go to the Kickstarter and find it in a bunch of the rewards. Please, if you're a supporter of White Manga or Saturday AM, or what we're trying to do, and if we're successful, we'll be able to compete with other major companies like Viz and Shonen Jump in actual bookstores. For those who want to see my books in bookstores and get translations of my books and stuff like that, please support the Kickstarter. If we're a successful company in this realm, we'll also provide more opportunities for those who want to become comic artists themselves. I mean, if a couple hundred of you guys pledge $25, we will be funded. So currently we are over 60% funded, but we want to be funded sooner to hit the goal before the deadline. So thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed this illustration. Obviously, same deal, sketched, inked with Sakura micro inking pens, and I used Copic markers to go over it. You can also view this as an observational tutorial, so I hope you learned from it. Again, just to remind you, I'm a big fan of One Punch Man. The series is a big influence of mine, so there is no disrespect here. You can't even come to a resolution or an answer, because at the end of the day in the series, we truly haven't seen Saitama break a sweat. We don't really know what his limitations are, if any. And also, you guys don't know much about Arodihs as well. So this is really just a fun illustration. It's not to spark debate or compare. Like, my work is nowhere near the popularity of the likes of a One Punch Man. Just a fan. So please, United States, to smash the like button and the subscribe button, then hit that bell so you stay notified each time I upload absolutely anything. Check out my other videos. You can purchase Apple Black Volume 1 and 2. Check out my other comic, BACASSI, or purchase the first volumes of Apple Black Volume 1 and 2. Check out Saturday AM and all the other cool titles. Follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's been fun, guys. It's White Manga, and I'm out.